But here you go.
It's a robust click. Okay. We are live.
Nice. Nice.
Are we live? We're live.
Okay.
We're
Well, here
live.
we are, Tom.
Here we
Back
are,
at
mate.
back, back at it again.
Back at it. How you doing?
So I told you about the fish I cooked today,
Yeah,
the
your
sea
fish.
bass,
Absolutely.
and I mean you can't beat fresh fish. You know, like the if you ask like what which fish tastes best in the world, right? It's like it's the freshest fish. Like that is the one, and that's also why these fish are worth so much, especially to like the Japanese markets. And so I actually visited once. I can't remember the name, but one of the largest fresh fish markets in Japan, and it's like the amount of money they will pay for a fresh fish, a fresh yellowfin tuna, or bluefin for them, compared to a first one. It's just there's like a massive difference. It's very interesting, but it also there's just a very different taste. So if you go to the market, get a fresh fish, you cook it right away instead of like putting it in the freezer or in the fridge for some days. It tastes great. Like it's really good.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
that's a it's
There's
a great experience.
there's absolutely a massive difference between fresh fish and frozen or whatever, right? For sure. Interesting way to start a stream, but hey, it's great. Your fish looked really good though. Your fish did look really
Well,
good.
it's kind of okay. So if we are to somehow link this up with trading, well, fresh levels, fresh levels generated by X mode, that's also something like you really want to pay attention to. Like a fresh level, the first time that a price, so the market interacts with a level for the first time, that's where it's the strongest. That is where it is the best. That is the best time to engage around the market before there's been any sort of back and forth. It's like that's it. A lot of people they like to wait to see reaction from a level before they trade it. Often in my opinion, if this is the strategy, I think you just end up missing out on a lot of trades. Like you don't get the wicks, you don't get the easy trades, but of course you'll also lose some trades from sometimes where the market just pushes through that level. That's how it is. But being able to trade a fresh level generated by X mode, it really means a lot. Like it really means a lot. And that's also like um, if we look at AUD USD now, right? Let me pull up your screen here, Tom.
Hey everyone, welcome into the stream. The stream's working all right, guys. Everything's running smoothly. You can hear us, you can see us. It's all working. Hey Warren, we got David, we got Jocelyn, Eugene, Björn, we got Pierre, Jakey, Jake, Nick. Hello. Hey everybody. Just let me know if the streams are working well, guys. Anyway, we're looking here. Oh yeah, it's working. Awesome. We're looking here at Aussie dollar, US dollar. So Asgar, we're talking about Aussie dollar, US dollar, fresh touches of X mode levels. All right. So what are we thinking here, Asgar? I'm obviously in the trade. I like it. I think it's a great position, huh?
Well, there's like look if you look to the right and you look at how many hours left in this candle, there's 7 hours
Yeah.
before this daily candle closes, right? And that's pretty telling. Pretty telling. Like at this point, there's absolutely no reason to really be worried about it or think too much about it. Like if the trade if this candle today closes like this, okay. I mean, that's not ideal. I would rather, if that is the case, um, and tomorrow just looks horrendous, I would rather just get out of break even of this trade and then get back in on a retest.
Yeah, for sure.
Um, but if we look at how the trade, if you look at how the candle closed yesterday, and you think a little bit further with your head, and you think, okay, if this candle closes below the level today, then it looks fucking great. Like this can change from looking horrendous to looking like really good, very, very fast. Like it's a very, and given how far away like the range to the stop loss, like it's a very, very fair stop loss. Tom, where would you assume most people have their stop loss on this trade? Like if people are short here, right? Where would you assume like most people would set their stop loss here?
Somewhere there.
Yes, exactly. So even if you make the case, right? Like even if you make the case of saying, hey, this might run higher than initially expected, and it's going to run some stops, and you look at, well, where's the stops going to be? They're going to be where you marked it out. Okay, even if they do run the stop, it is still beyond. It's still quite a distance from our stop loss at that point. So it has a very good chance of running those stops and then even going back down to the entry or even to the TP. So it's the trade setup itself is really good. It's very fair. It's a really, really reasonable stop loss, and that's why I like these trades that's generated like this. Like they are ideal. And forex is a fuckery market. There's a lot of shit going on in the background that can be very difficult to read. So in the end of the day, what is left to be said about this trade is, hey, if the candle closes like this, like bullish in golf, that's not bullish golf, but it is a bullish candle. If it closes like this, I would strongly considering getting out of break even tomorrow, and then getting back into the trade if it starts consolidating below the level again. But for right now, there's not really any need to be concerned or be worried. It's just another trade running.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like you say, this candle here, the prior candle, I like this wick, right? This wick looks good. And, we never really judge, this is really the first candle that's kind of pushed through the level and really has a chance to close above the level. And we've still got 7.5 hours till this guy closes. So in 7.5 hours, this could absolutely just dump back down. And if this closes back down here somewhere, that is going to look like an incredibly bearish candle, right? So we're going to be super, super pleased with that trade at that stage. So right now, I wouldn't be worried too much about it at all. But like you say, if we move through with this really bullish move kind of thing, it's not bullish in golfing, but it's a bullish capture of the level, I guess we might want to call it, right? If the bulls capture the level like this, then maybe we consider getting out on the retest, waiting for the market to kind of, this is what kind of it would look like, right? Retests here, we get out at break even, market pushes back below, retests back like that, and then we continue on like this.
That'd be great.
That would be the trade. That. Yeah, that would be the trade if if we do get this candle closed, like say it doesn't move at all from where it is right now, and it just closes exactly like this. That would kind of be the trade. Getting out at break even around here, and then re-entering over here, something like this.
Yeah.
All right, let's check out the chat. Hey everybody, welcome in. Make sure you put a like on this video because Asger, we're giving away a 10K trading account. We're giving away a 10K funded trading account in September, man. So at the end of September, there's going to be one new funded 10K trader. So to enter into this, contest, what we need you to do, guys, is we need you to subscribe to the channel first of all, which hopefully you've all already subscribed. Make sure you've got the bell notification turned on as well, so you don't miss any of our videos as we post them. We do plenty of videos on this channel, so it's like 3 a week at least. And then make sure you're commenting and liking every video throughout September. So every new comment and like that you put onto a video, so every comment, we'll record that, and then we'll have like a random comment picker that's going to go through all of the videos through September and pick one comment, and the commenter is going to win this 10K traded account, okay? So at the end of the day, make sure you're liking and commenting on every single video throughout September to have the most opportunities to win this 10K traded account, all right, guys? And this being the 1st of September is that first opportunity for you to do that, all right? So make sure you get those comments in. Make sure you get those comments in.
So we have a question in the chat about having a look at gold. So let's take a look at gold. I actually haven't looked at this week.
Oh, XAU, sorry. Gold, gold, gold. Okay. Immediately I go, I don't really care about this market. I don't care. But what do you think?
Well, I think it's like it's gold. It's rock.
Yeah.
It's the rock, you know, and it's fuckery at its best. It looks like it has a good chance of starting an uptrend here. Like it has a good chance here of starting an uptrend here, but it's like right on the very line of where it can really go both ways at this point. I do believe there was a trade set up on 4 hour here, and I still think it's valid. And I think I said in the last stream that the last trade that was going to be on gold would be this short setup that is going on here, before it's turning bullish. So it's not really like anything that just looks like straight to me, like jumping in my eyes and telling me like, hey, trade this. Like I would not deploy millions of capital to short this market. It's not jumping to me and saying, hey, that's a great trade here. And I don't know about you guys, but I prefer that the trade I just look at the market and I can just instantly tell you how I'm leaning towards the market. So I think it was a pretty good assessment you made initially, Tom. That it's just not looking interesting. Like there's no clear direction of what's really going to happen here.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, we're in a 17% week uptrend, and our global is like just completely compressed. So yeah, I could see some choppery around here. Some fuckery. Yeah, just some fuckery basically around here, right? That's what I could see for sure.
Yep.
So it's not really something that screams to me like go long, go short, anything like this.
No,
you know, I don't have any bias when I look at this market.
There's no clear direction here, and that's also that it's like a really important point, guys, because you have to understand there's certain times, there's a certain point in time where markets are just in a phase where you just should not be trading them. Like you should not really touch it. You should just kind of forget about it and just let it do its thing, and either let it move into an uptrend or let it move into a downtrend, but just really leave it. And we had a few. There was some trade setups on this, and at this point, it's just kind of looking like not really interesting. So we have Jinho Kang is asking us about Euro USD. So let's go have a look at that. And Nick is asking to be the random picker. I'm not sure we can trust you, Nick. So we're gonna have to we're gonna have to check that. All right. So Euro USD it's looking very similar to AUD USD, right? Like it's looking pretty similar to the same kind of deal, but this market is still trading straight into a level at this point. It has the same rejection that we also saw. So something tells me that this is really going to be up to DXY, what is going to happen at these markets. There's nothing to do on one day time frame, but if you go to 4 hour, maybe we could have a look. Right. It's a pretty strong reclaim of that level after the initial rejection. Like it's a pretty strong comeback. And that hints towards what really can happen here. But again,
it retested this level really quickly, right? On this time frame, like it rejected, like nice bearish engulfing candle, rejected off the level, but then it just ripped straight back into the level again, and it's like, oh shit, like that's not what I want to see.
Yeah, because that tells us there's buyers presence, there's buying volume, there's volume on this, and they want to buy it. So
we've got someone who's in hospital as well, pumping the morphine while they watch us.
That's good.
It's good. Very good.
Not the hospital part, of course.
Not the hospital.
No, that's not good. But the fact that you are spending your time in the hospital looking at us and being in the stream, that's good. We like that. Wish you a speedy recovery, Jared.
Absolutely. Speedy recovery for sure. Do you want to check
Cat.
DXY then?
Okay, let's have a quick go. Let's
Yeah.
have a quick look at it. Let's have a quick look at DXY just to see if there's anything obvious.
Okay, DXY pulling back. All right.
Well, so one thing about this market is that this DXY is like the instrument itself, meaning this particular market itself is it's very different from Euro USD or forex markets or Bitcoin or something like the DXY is the dollar index, and what it means is that it consists of a group of different weighted instruments in itself, and it trades kind of a little bit strange, and it likes to make gaps and so on. But XMOD still works decent on it. XMOD is best when it's a fully liquid market that is trading almost constantly, meaning fewer gaps. The fewer gaps, the better. But we can still use these levels. You can see it's still respecting levels pretty fair. Now, the best we can look at here to really get an indication of what's going on is we can have a look at RTD. You can see we are still in an uptrend. Now, it's a week at this point, so it's not a strong uptrend anymore like it was previously, but it is an uptrend still. And we have a support level coming up at 92.19, and it's fair to say that if this support level go, it's very reasonable that it's going to test 90.63. So if that is the case, that this level in X mode goes, then we're probably going to see some continuous pushing in these USD affected markets like Euro USD and AUD USD. But this can change very fast. Like if you look to the a little bit to the left of Tom's screen, like where the chart starts initially, you can see that it's very common for this market to kind of move like in a fuckery fashion up and down and a lot. So it can change very, very fast. That's why our positions that we are in on the USD position are still very valid, because at this point this trend hasn't changed. The dollar index is still in uptrend, so there's nothing about our current bias should really be changed. It's all working according to plan at this point, but that doesn't mean anything can really happen. Like truly anything can really happen. What's your thoughts, Tom?
Yeah, I mean, so I'll just clarify first of all what the dollar index is for anyone who's not aware, kind of thing. Basically, a basket of currencies. Euro, yen, Aussie dollar, New Zealand dollar, all the currencies around the world kind of thing. And, with weightings that are relative to the market caps of those currencies as well. So you end up with Euro kind of at the top of that basket with the highest weighting, yen then I don't know what the next currency is, Swiss franc maybe, I'm not sure, and then maybe Aussie dollars in there as well. But basically this basket of currencies is then quoted against the US dollar. That's why it's such a strange market to look at, as Asger was saying. But it kind of gives us a general idea of what the US dollar is doing compared to every other currency in the world, essentially, and the strength of the US dollar compared to the rest of the world. So my thoughts here is like, we get a retest of this level here, okay? We're in an uptrend. It's not a super strong uptrend, as you say, but I've got to assume initially that, okay, we do bounce off this level. So I've got to take those US dollar strength trades at the end of the day that we're being presented right now. The Aussie dollar, US dollar that we're in right now, that's the US dollar strength trade, okay? So I've got to assume that, and even if we do get the push through Aussie dollar, US dollar, we get the push to the upside here, dollar index continues down. Even if there's a little bounce here, it gives me hope that I'm also going to be able to get out of break even as well. Because if we do continue seeing the US dollar weakness, we push down into the level, we do have a little bit of a bounce from the level right here. Maybe that's just enough for me to get out at break even before we breach this level and we continue on all the way down here to 90.63. So it gives me a little bit more confidence in staying in Aussie dollar, US dollar for now as well, even if we do close with that bullish that bullish retake of the level 2, because at the minimum, maybe we see just a small bounce here at the level, helps me get out at break even before we do see the continuation to the downside. I'm not saying we will see a continuation to the downside. I'm just saying if we do see a continuation to the downside and we breach this level, I have a little bit of hope here that we've got a small bounce.
Those are some good thoughts, Tom.
Mm-hmm.
So we got a lot of questions coming in. I think we're gonna move along.
Yep.
So Bjorn asked us about CAD CHF 4 hour. Let's have a look at that. And then we're gonna look at Euro CAD, which is a Sona trade right after.
I did see Eugene. Sorry, go on.
CAD CHF.
CAD Swiss franc. Yep. So here's the CAD Swiss franc trade. I like the trade personally.
It's a great setup. Like I really think we have done a great job with strategy mode in terms of like creating professional trades, like very, very reasonable trades based on if then statements, meaning like if this happens, then we can do a reasonable trade setup like this. And I think in this case, what we're saying, like, well, we are in a pretty heavy downtrend on this market, and in the event that it does make a push to the upside here, I think it would be a great trade. Yeah. Also, just look at the market. You can see it's very common for it to behave like this. Like it might look like a little bit ridiculous the way that this market is behaving, but I think that's also why this trade would probably work out very well. So yeah, I'd be happy to take this trade.
I guess what you're saying here is behaving this way, stuff like this.
Yes.
All of this kind of price action. This is a common theme in this market. It's a really common deviation to see. Yeah, exactly. All these times here where we see a similar deviation in this market, we have, the consolidation, little tiny candles, big candles rip back in the other direction. Little tiny candles, big candles rip back in the other direction. Exactly the same here. So what we'd see here is we've got the little tiny candles, big candles rip back in the other direction. Something like that is kind of our general thesis of what we'd love to see here, for sure.
So we like the trade. We like it.
Yeah.
Let's move along. Euro CAD on Sona. It's a Sona trade apparently. Let's have a look. Probably
1 day, I guess.
Let's see.
There. Euro CAD long position. I've got a question here from Eugene as well. He said, Asger, you said something about new levels at the beginning of the video, new level formations on X mode, if I understand correctly. Can you please clarify that?
We'll get to that in a moment.
Yeah.
We'll get to that in a moment. Actually, for Euro CAD here, I think I would like to have a look at the weekly for just a minute.
Sure.
Okay. So what I'm seeing here, zoom a little bit out, Tom, a little bit more out.
Yeah.
So what I'm seeing here is in those must have been like early 2020 during Corona probably, where it pushed, made a very significant initial fake out and then a pump. It's very classic for markets to do this. Like markets just trading like this. It's very, very common for this to happen, no matter what the event is. In this case, it was probably Corona. So I see that initial push, and then it's been a lot of consolidation and so on, and then it had a retest. But what I'm seeing is how well that neutral level X mode found has really reacted, especially if you draw that across the screen, right, to where it really came from. You can see that consolidation is happening above that order block from Corona time. Yeah. I appreciate the horizontal lines today, Tom. Well, I was actually looking for the other tool this time.
Oh my goodness!
There's
no pleasing this guy.
No, it's not.
Here we
go.
Here we
It's
go.
not easy. But look at that. I think that's really telling how this level reacted, and so what I'm saying is that I'm looking at the weekly time frame. I like what I'm seeing here. So let's go back to 1 day time frame, and that's why we looked at weekly first. Is because we wanted to see what is really the history of this level, and now we understand the history of the level. We can start to have a little bit closer look. Okay, so because of how this market is trading and where it's really going, you can see it's kind of starting an uptrend here. Yeah, we could maybe get that entry on the support level. Yeah, we could, but it's pretty unreasonable to expect that the market will come back down to that level based on how that the trend is developing here. Like it could happen, but I don't think there's a big probability of it. But if it were to happen, it would be a buy, right? It would be a buy down there, but it's not. So it's a bit more aggressive trade. This is also what we call a BRC. It's a break, retesting, continuation of this level. I think it's reasonable. I think it's very reasonable trades. Honestly, I fucking love how these trades are set up and created. Like they're really fucking good. I know I know a lot of people who really struggle like in the early days of trading with like just creating reasonable objective setups that's like good, that has like a good probability of working out. And I think this is a really good setup. Like I think it's a very reasonable setup because you have an early trend change here and you can see it's slightly moving up and it's like recapturing. It's kind of like you can see some sort of buying algorithm active, and I like that. So I like the trade. I think Euro CAD is looking good on 1 day time frame here. I would take it myself.
Okay. Do you want to place this one? We'll show everyone slowly how to place this trade. If there's anyone new, anyone who's new to Breakfree Trading, wants to see how to place a trade, we'll go through that right now, okay? So I'll just hover over this and you can see it changes color when I hover my mouse over it, okay? This position tool, this visualization of our thesis. Let's just switch X mode off briefly so you can just see, you know, the simplicity of the chart when we've got just this strategy mode on there. We hover over, we click, and it pops open our BFT panel. This gives us all the data we need about our risk to reward ratio, what type of trade it is. And then I'm just going to click place 1, place 2, and place 3 in order to place my 3 entries where I scale in through this entry zone, okay? So I click place 1. Does some small checks. Trade Guard tells me it's a 10 out of 10. Fantastic, you know, great trade, 10 out of 10. Trade Guard's keeping me under control here. I click place, sends the order to my MetaTrader account, and then bang, there it is there, ready for it to be placed. If the market gets back there, place 2, done, and place 3, done. There we go. 3 trades placed. What was that, like 10 seconds or something like this?
Yeah,
easy peasy.
risk calculated, and like all the different like thoughts and like everything you really would have to do in order to place a trade like this, and like check with like what other inventory you're carrying, and it's all being done for you. I really think we've done a great job here. So yeah, that's how simple it is, and that's Euro CAD. Let's move along. We got plenty of questions coming in.
USD CAD? Did we look at that already though? USD CAD?
Let's have
USD CAD.
No, we had a look at USD CAD. Russell. US 2000. That's the Russell.
Okay. Yes, the small cap 2000. Okay. Okay.
To be honest, I'm just, you know, I look at this and compared to like what we just looked at with Euro CAD, where it's like, hey, you know, it's like there's like a reasonable trade setup. I'm just looking at this and I'm just thinking to myself, hey, this doesn't really look interesting to me. Like it's not. Can it go up? Yes, it can. There's room for some upside and so on, but the RTD is pretty weak at this point, and it just looks like consolidation, sideways consolidations. Like nothing about this like really looks interesting to me.
Yeah.
You could probably buy that neutral level and be all right, but I'd rather not, to be honest.
This one here. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You could buy it and, maybe take it up to here somewhere again, whatever.
Yeah.
Maybe you get lucky, it breaks out of here and it's kind of like a reaccumulation or something like this.
Yes.
But, really where I'd. It's kind of sideways. Yeah, look, it doesn't really interest me. If I wanted to get US equity exposure, I'm probably not doing it on this market. I'm probably doing it on. I'm probably doing it on S&P 500.
Yeah.
That's probably the market I'm looking for US equity exposure in.
Jesus fucking
Look
Christ.
at this
Look
shit.
at that shit. Holy.
Yeah.
It's just like a monstrosity and it just keeps going.
Yeah, and it's really interesting to see the divergence between S&P 500 and Russell 2000, especially when we have such a bullish uptrend in S&P 500.
I mean,
Russell 2000 is supposed to be that small cap market that pumps even harder than S&P 500 in a bull market, right? And then dumps even harder in a bear market, but strange.
It's not doing well. Yeah, like you said, that's yeah, would be much better to get long on this than what we just looked at, that Russell 2000. It's not interesting. Okay, moving along. Let's look at the what else we got. We're gonna talk about the fresh levels.
Yes.
So I have a video on this that I recorded in 2020 about this. And the general idea, and I'm not saying this is like facts or anything, but like the general idea why fresh levels are stronger is because they're just they basically represent a fresh block of buyers or sellers that hasn't been touched yet. It's like an area of interest that hasn't been touched yet, meaning that it's kind of like when the first iPhones get out, when the first iPhones get launched from Apple and there was like people outside the stores like just waiting to buy it. That's basically like a buy wall of people just ready to buy those iPhones. If you walked up to them with those iPhones that which and told them they could buy this now without even having to go, so they would do it. They wouldn't hesitate. They would just take it because that's what matters. That's kind of sort of the same idea with fresh levels. It's an area that hasn't been touched yet. It's a fresh group of buyers, sellers that hasn't been in contact with the market, and then when it finally does, that's usually where you get like a really good reaction. Now, the stronger the trend is, the better reaction you're gonna get from a fresh level.
Yeah,
that's how it is.
So you're saying the first touch of one of these high alignment X mode levels is basically what you're meaning by a fresh level, yes?
Yes.
Yeah. The first time it touches it, it's just kind of like it goes bang, similar to like this type of thing right here. Big wick off it, and then just rip to the upside.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. All right. Everyone get that? Everyone on board with that? That first touch of the high confluence X mode levels is basically what a fresh level is. Does 100% SSS mean it's likely not to crash through that level? Jakey Jack, does the 100% SSS mean it's not likely to crash through that level? So the 100% SSS, okay, is the strongest support level in this market, all right? Within this market range. So you've got to think of these X mode levels like a range in the market, okay? This is the top of the market range. This is the bottom of the market range. And, whether or not the price has been there before, it could be just like a key psychological level in the market, like 5,000. If you don't think there's going to be sellers or people targeting when S&P 500's at $5,000, I'm going to close some of my long exposure, then you're kidding yourself, right? This is just a key psychological point in the market. And then you've got the middle of the range at the 50% retracement here being the 100% alignment neutral level. Now, the thing about the 100% alignment SSS level is that if this is breached and then the extensions don't hold, this entire range that was being formed here in this market is invalidated. That range will then shift, and it'll shift down below where it was before, and usually this 100% alignment SSS will become the new neutral level at the 50% retracement, okay? So the importance of this is because basically it's like if the bulls want to maintain this market range, then they're going to have to hold this support level here. Okay? That's the importance of it.
We got a lot of questions coming in, Tom.
Okay. By the way, get some island spice seasoning and marinate the fish. All right. Tom, please can you do a video on how to enter 3 position on X mode? Yep, that can be a future one for sure. Hello from Norway. Someone from Norway. Hello, Morton from Norway. You're too quick placing trades. The next class, please. Okay, so in the academy, I place trades very slowly in the academy. So you can jump back to the academy and re-watch me placing trades in there. Fresh levels sound
Tom,
familiar.
show the people where the academy is located.
Yeah, for sure. Easy. Okay, so if you're in the sonar, you've got your sonar open right now. This right bar is very important. You've got this hat here. Hover over it. It says Academy. Click Academy. And you can drag it out here. You can have it there, me talking to you while you're looking at your charts. Really, this is perfect, right? Having charts and Tom talking to you at the same time. But what you want to do is you want to go finding and placing your first trades. This one, I go through, I find a trade in the sonar, and then I place it. 10-minute video, doesn't take too long. Rewatch it as many times as you need to watch it, so that you see exactly how to place trades. The placing trades mechanics hasn't changed much. All right, maybe the screen looks a little bit different from when I filmed these videos like 9 months ago or something like this, but the mechanics are exactly the same. Okay, guys. So go and watch this one and just watch it 10 times if you need to. If you don't know how to place trades yet. So yeah, jump into the academy, and then once you've done that, you've got week 2 content here. We place more trades, we manage trades, we go through how to find hedge positions. Rewatch these over and over and over again if you need to, okay? And then you've got, the pearls of wisdom from the extended content. This stuff here is just gold, right? Going through here and finding all the pieces of gold in these 25 videos. Yes, they're from 2019, but they're still as relevant today as they were back then.
Actually, they're not. Most of them for 2020. The 2019 were mostly just like the very.
Oh, that's just kind of like the initial week 1, basically. Yeah. No. Mostly the ones actually labeled 2020 are more relevant, from price action perspective, from support and resistance, etc. So yeah, jump into these to learn a bit more about X mode, about repeated trades and so forth. The ones that say 2020 after them. 2019, if you want the full experience, they're also pretty cool, back in the early days, but 2020 is the ones you should be looking at. Okay, so, any other questions you're seeing there?
So guys, we got 20 minutes left of tonight, so keep your questions coming in, and we'll do everything we can to answer it. Donovan Collins would like to have a look at the GBP. And by the way, Donovan, I did marinate that sea bass in olive oil. It's great. Olive oil. I basically use olive oil on everything that I really put on a pan. Olive oil first, and then usually finish up with some butter. Just fuck. Okay, this is not a cooking show. Let's get back to the trading.
It could be though. We're both great cooks. It could be a cooking show easily.
It could be. I've been thinking about this, cooking and trading. Oh man,
that sounds like a great idea. Personally, I wonder if the people would watch. Would people tune in though? Okay, pound US dollar. Let's trade for now. We'll worry about cooking later. Pound US dollar. So what are we looking at here? We're in a downtrending market. See that immediately. Do we have a sonar trade or something? Do we? Maybe on a different time frame. Was there a time frame mentioned?
No. I think it was just like a general perspective of.
General perspective of this market. Okay. Okay.
I don't know. I think it has to hold that level, that neutral level there.
It has to hold this. Well, yeah. Okay, so say it holds this, right? What do we see? We basically end up. Why? Oh, there. Okay.
But I think it looks weak. Like overall, I think it looks kind of weak just from those like. I mean, yeah, yeah, those are some bounces and so on.
Look, let's say we do hold this, right? We just end up creating a range in here, basically.
That's what it's been doing. Yeah,
Yep.
that's what's been going on, really.
Mm-hmm.
I think it would be a reasonable short from that neutral level again.
From here. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I think like if you're looking at this and you're looking at how those interaction with support, you can see kind of how deep they're cutting. They're cutting way beyond the support level. It's kind of hinting that the buyers are not really present at the support level. It's a little bit too deep. Both of these times it comes all the way down to extension 1 before it produces a bounce. You can also see that this time when it bounced from extension 1, the following price action that came after is significantly weaker than it was the first time. And that's again hinting towards like the weakness in this market. Overall, I think UK is overvalued. I think they have room. I think they have room for some downside. I'm just joking, guys. But I think it's a fair assessment that this market is a little bit weak, but it's not so weak that it couldn't go into an uptrend. I wouldn't buy it here. Like not at this point. I would buy it if it could capture that neutral level and hold it. Then I would be interested in buying it. Yeah, and that would also that would be enough to change the trend. But if it were to start like an uptrend from here, how would that look on the weekly time frame, Tom? Try to zoom out, way out. So I mean, it could like there's room. It's been years since it's been years since this market really has been like bullish, like proper bullish, but it could, like it could, and there's probably a lot of people betting against that. I think there's I could imagine there's a lot of people that would bet against that. So I think actually there's a reasonable bull case here if it could take that neutral level. I think there's a reasonable bull case.
Yep, if we can take the neutral level here, consolidate above a little bit, continue on to the upside. Bear case is breaching through the extension 2 here, invalidating this range. If we just go back in here, retest support again. Let me clean the chart a little bit.
Yeah, if it comes back down and it starts fucking around that support extension level again, that would not be good. That I mean for the bulls wise. But look at it. RTD is saying this is already bearish, and don't bet against RTD in general. Like it's a bad idea.
Yeah,
it's a bad idea.
Yeah.
Okay, we probably got some more questions. Let me check the chat. So we got a GBP Singaporean dollar 1-day Sona trade.
Sona. Okay, cool. All right. I think there's a question about sentiment from Eugene. If you want to read that one there while I find this. And SGD.
Sentiment analysis. Well, I think. Yeah, there's something about it, but you also have to understand, like, do you have good data? Are you reading, like, so the question is about sentiment analysis, and it's sort of like the same idea of like fundamental analysis, right? Like it's really like what is the crowd saying and what is going on around this market and so on. You got to ask yourself, do you have access to good data? Like, do you actually know what the crowd is saying, or do you just think you know what the crowd is saying, right? That's a really important difference. And the reason I don't really bother with sentiment analysis is because I don't have a good way to quantify the information. Like it's, if anything, it makes my job harder. A lot of times when people add more data, this is a lot of people like to add more indicators to the chart. They like to add as many things that they can, as they can. The problem is you end up in information overload. Like you end up with way too much information, and then whatever narrative that you were building or you had or that you were looking to build, you can find the confirmation for what you want, whatever you want. right? So that's why in Breakfree Trading and our approach to trading is that like we don't give a shit about that. We don't give a shit about fundamental, really sentimental analysis. What we care about is what is the price telling us? What is the market telling us? How is the price interacting with the important levels in the market, right? Because everything everything can be derived from what is going on in the price action and what is going on in the market. I don't really believe people gain good success from trading news or trading fundamental analysis. Like there's definitely people. Listen, I'm not saying there's not people successful at this. I'm just saying it's very, very difficult to get to that point where you're really successful at it and it works well for you. And often it's really something about practice and something about building experience and learning how to use that information in the right way. And that's the difficult part. In my experience, I just found it much easier to just disable Twitter, disable Reddit, disable all these different sources of information that has thoughts, and then just I don't give a shit what everyone else is thinking, really. What I care about is like the objective information that I know is true, and that is what RTD and XMODIs present me with. And based on that, and then based on what these information are, I make my own decisions. And the power that comes from making your own decisions and following this format is that you build confidence in yourself. And by building confidence in yourself, you develop yourself, and that is what it's going to require for you to become a trader that trades in 6, 7, 8 figures position sizes, right? So 8 figures is pretty large, but you know what I mean. So that is the reason, and I truly believe this is the best way to go about it.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, there's a level of also, how scalable and how repeatable is looking at this sentiment and the news and so forth to your trading. This is a very repeatable, scalable way of trading. When you start adding in really subjective things like that, how repeatable, how scalable is it really? Because if it's not repeatable and scalable, then why continue to practice it, kind of thing. So we've got this trade here on pound SGD, so pound Singapore dollar. I think that there'll likely be a recalculation here. This TP1 seems a little bit strange. I would have expected it to be around here somewhere. But anyway, whether it's this trade or that trade, I think that the stop loss is in a really good spot. I think the stop loss is in a nice spot. I just think the TP will probably recalculate a little bit lower, somewhere around here.
That could be in a better spot. The trade itself, is pretty similar to what we were looking at 2 or 3 weeks ago with AUD CAD. This is an aggressive trade.
Yes.
And we talked about AUD CAD, and I remember saying that I think it was going to turn out well. And I also remember checking up on it 2 weeks later and seeing that it did turn out pretty well. In this case, this is another pretty aggressive trade. I think this is how you would go about it. You don't have to take this trade, but if you were to short this market, this is the way you would go about it. Fuck, that is the same thing I said about AUD CAD. And it's just it is honestly just the truth. Like if you are to go about finally shorting this market, now would be the time, because look at that entry level, that neutral level. Like that is a really that is a previous support level, right? That it bounced off multiple times. And now it got pushed below it and is retesting it. What I don't really like to see here right now, I don't know. I think it's coin toss. I think it's a pretty good trade, honestly. Like when I'm looking at it, I'm seeing some interaction. Maybe I would like to see what's going on, like 4 hour or 1 hour, just because of like what's really happening here. But for now, that's just like a retest of the entry level. And that is also where you would trade it. So hey, it's pretty good. I think it's a good trade. But the question is if you can deploy your money in a better trade than this one, right? So if you're taking trades and you're considering what is available on the market, what you're gonna do is you're gonna take this trade and then you're gonna compare it to all the other trades where GBP or Singaporean dollar is involved, and then you're gonna decide which trade is the best one to deploy my money on, right? Like that's how you would go about it.
I think this one's one of those situations, Asgo, where it's like, it's an aggressive trade. In the right conditions, it works out. In the wrong conditions, it pushes through, and the stop loss is where the entry should have been.
Yeah, it will attempt to short this again, properly. It might be higher. It might be all the way up at 1.9. I'm not sure. Okay, we got 10 minutes left, Tom, so we're gonna move along, I think.
All right. The Breakfree Trading algorithm is a mentor for new traders. Absolutely, yes, it is a mentor for new traders for sure. Helps you build thesis. Coasters for life.
What is your favorite roller coaster you've been on? It's been a while. But in Denmark we have a roller coaster called the Pegasus. It's pretty nuts. It's pretty good. Let's move on.
We have the Tower of Terror here. It's good, scary, fun. Pound SGD 4 hour, please. Okay. 4 hour. Oh, we just looked at the 1 day. Was there a 4 hour trade as well? Oh shit! Look at that.
Yeah, there is.
There is.
This is a trade that's gonna happen faster. It's gonna play out faster.
I like the stop loss on the 1 day trade better, being above.
I would have liked. Yeah, if you consider about the other people who's gonna short this market that don't have access to the technology that we have, you can see that the stop loss will be a little bit higher than ours. I don't like that the stop loss here is placed into that resistance level. If I were to take this trade, I would definitely put the stop loss just slightly above that. Yeah.
Somewhere right here,
yes. A little bit higher than that. Yeah. I mean, lower. Sorry, a little bit somewhere.
Somewhere higher than that. Yeah. So probably something like this. Yeah. Yeah,
I think. Yeah, I think that would have been better. But overall, it's all right. It's all right.
Yeah, probably the 1 day trade. If you're like, I'm definitely deploying capital in this market, probably the 1 day trade.
Probably. It will give you more time. It'll be more chill. It'll be more chill for sure. Have we looked at AUD JPY?
No, let's take a look. Aussie dollar yen. There it is. Okay. Now you got to think this is let me just do something. So if we just put these next to each other, right? This is really like it's practically the same trade at the end of the day. It's practically the same trade, really.
Yeah, it is. It is.
You're basically entering the same position here. So.
I mean, if you're not in AUD USD at the time, then you would probably go about entering the AUD JPY. I think it has a good chance of like, again, the stop. Where's the stops placed on AUD JPY? Yeah, a little bit lower, but yeah, that's good. Yep, like that. I think it has a good chance to take that first. So I think it has a good chance of taking those first. Either way, it's a reasonable trade. Like, if you're gonna short it, this is the way to do it. But it's a pretty sharp bounce, but that's not uncommon from this market in general. Like, if you have a look at the price action of this market, it's pretty common, and then you can see what usually falls.
Yep, got a similar thing going on over here. Similar price action there, similar price action over here. Even that there kind of thing. That little bit there, hard dump, retest, continue on to the downside. But don't get it mixed up that you're taking two different trades here though. Don't be that person that goes, oh yeah, I'm just gonna throw my life savings into both of these. because you're taking the same
Yeah.
trade at the end of the day. You're deploying all your capital on these two positions.
If you're already short on AUD USD, it's not, and this trade is in drawdown, and you're like, oh, that's that's really bothering you, and you're thinking about putting on this AUD JPY. It's in general, it's not really like a good practice to do that. I would really prefer to look for like better opportunities in the market, or like just to spread my capital, even though these are not exactly the same markets, they're very, very correlated. And as soon as the AUD USD stops pushing, this is gonna stop pushing as well.
Yep.
So it will be the same trade, like Tom said.
For sure, absolutely. Okay, cool. Alrighty then. What else we got? All right, that looks like we've covered most of those questions. Anything we missed there, guys? Any last questions you want? Get them in. And we'll go over them. Get them in. We'll go over them. You know, the Tower of Terror, right? It's like you're in this like cart thing, and you go flying along, you go up this tower, and then the worst part is you kind of like stop at the top, basically. You know, that moment where the inertia stops, and then you're going backwards, back down this like huge tower in this cart. It was intense, man. It was intense. Did we do Bitcoin? No, we didn't actually look at Bitcoin. Let's look at Bitcoin.
Kind of looks like a bull flag in a way. The trend is still fairly strong, but to be honest, I'm also long on this, so
you want to be a bull flag.
I'm also long on this. The bear argument is that the trend line is broken from the lows, like the trend that it was following. But it's also very classic for Bitcoin to break a trend line, like maybe you can draw it from the 29K lows. Yep.
Oh, wrong tool. Sorry. Yeah.
It's very classic for Bitcoin. Yeah, exactly. It's very classic for Bitcoin to do this, like break that. And there's a lot of people who love shorting this, and there's a lot of people who love punishing those people that shorted after the trendline break.
Yeah.
So usually from here, what I expect is that BTC is going to retest 50K. And based on how that interaction with that 50K, you can see the previous 50K interaction, how that went. That was like that's again, it's a fresh level. It's the first touch of 50K, and it was an immediate basically rejection from that level, right? And that is a fresh level, and that's what the fresh levels do. So now we're at this point. I think there's a good chance it's going to retest 50K. And by the time it comes up and retests 50K, it's going to meet that trend line as well.
Yes.
And what happens from there is what we have to see. If it takes 50K and it starts consolidating above it, it also means that it's basically going to be able to get nearly back inside that trend line. And that it will have room for upside. So I am bullish until 50K. And based on how the market, how the price action looks once it touches 50K next time, that's really going to determine my outlook for Bitcoin. Yeah,
for sure. It looks like we missed a question, Asger. Aussie dollar CAD from Sonar. It activated the first trade, but TradeGuard says to cancel the 2 remaining. Okay, strange.
Let's have a look.
Yep. Checking.
Well,
Sonar.
it's probably
it's saying cancelled. It's probably.
Yeah, but it's
Let's have a look. We'll go and investigate. Oh yeah. Probably trade something like that, I would suggest. Perhaps.
Sounds a little bit strange that it activated the first entry but not the 2 other ones.
It probably should be in all 3 by now.
Like looking at it like right now, this is this trade is like still valid. Like it is still all right. But if it starts consolidating above tomorrow, like if the candle closes like it's looking right now, again, there's still a lot of hours left in this candle. But if the candle closes like it's looking here, and tomorrow it's not really getting below the level again, it can't close below. Yeah, I would probably get out of break even. That means you have to move your TPs, your targets, from the initial targets. You move them to the entry point. We don't just market close the trade. Like you don't just close the trade because you decide, oh, okay, I want to get out. Because a lot of times, like the majority of the times, you'll be able to get out these trades completely free. Like you'll be able to get out without it costing you any money. It just requires patience, and a lot of people don't really have that. So this candle can really, really, really fast turn shit. Like if this rejects down, imagine this closes like a wick down at where it opened today, like the daily open. That would be fucking great, and it would look like a great trade, just like exactly like that, like the one you
like this one here.
highlight.
Yeah, exactly like that. Yeah.
But RTD is hinting that this market, like this is like the very last limit of this is the very limit of when we still have a trade that's kind of like being considered valid.
Still valid.
It's yeah, because if it moves any higher than this, the local RTD is going to move above the global, and if it holds it, that means it's going to move into an uptrend. But for now, it's still all right, I think.
Yeah, I mean, here's another example of the same type of RTD that we're seeing right now. This price action right here, that section of price action there. Similar thing, strong local pushing up above. The bears then retook this market and continued on to the downside, right? So, like you said, this is the last opportunity. This is the final, battleground for the bears to hold. Otherwise, the bulls take control of this market, basically.
And it does happen quite a bit that you'll see like a final push like this. Like it happens quite often. Donovan asked if I will be in the next stream. I'll try. I don't always have the time, but I love to be here with you guys and talk about trades. It's great. Like I truly enjoy it. So I think that's it, Tom.
That's it, man.
Look, guys. You're always welcome. Like, okay, so let me share a couple of last things with you. So we're always working on new features for Breakfree Trading, and if you look at where this company were like 1 year ago and how things were looking at that point, it's very, very different from where it is now. And we're now working on basically moving our community into Navigator. So we're going to be able to have these talks about these trades where they matters, and it's going to be really, really good to be able to talk with you guys and communicate and have these discussions directly on the trades inside Navigator as they're occurring in real time, and I'm looking very much forward to that.
Do you want to tell them what we're thinking, or just leave
Nope.
it at that? No, okay.
That's all.
That's all I get. All right. So I tried, guys. I tried. I know you want it, but I tried. All right. Cool. All right then, guys. Appreciate you all again. And remember, when this video goes live, gets posted. So what happens is it kind of gets processed by YouTube or whatever, and then probably like sometime tomorrow, it's going to get posted on YouTube. Go in, make sure you like, make sure you comment. All of these things, okay? So that so you get your entries for that 10K trading account. All right, guys? Make sure to do that. Don't forget to do it. I want someone to win that account. I want someone to do great. It'll be cool if this trading account that we give away, that person ends up become like a 7-figure trader with us, right?
That'd be great. I would love that.
That would be so awesome. Great.
Okay, guys. Have a great day, evening, morning, wherever you are. Thank you, Tom.
Thanks, buddy. Appreciate it. Bye, guys. Bye-bye.